A quick question to the audience. You must have seen that these businesses got disrupted during the last decade, few decades. What do you think? What was the reason? Can you share the reason in chat that why these businesses got disrupted? You can type out your 1 word to 2 word answer that what is the primary reason which you think is that they could not evolve, or what is the main reason? As I'm seeing that responses have started getting into the chat, one of the reason that we commonly see is not able to, as we just saw, which is more about they could not change. But my observation was that why they could not change. All these companies had best of the leadership, technology, innovation, and culture. So what prompted them not able to make that change? When I look closely, it may not be just their ability to change, but more of that probably they were heading towards different direction. For example, there are different leaders who had different thought about change and what is going to happen. When you look at these statements, like, I think there is a world market for maybe 5 computers made by Thomas Watson, president of IBM. Television won't be able to hold on to any market by Daryl from executive at 20th Century Fox. There is no reason anyone would want a computer in their home by Ken Olson from Digital Equipment Corporation. And this is big. Apple is already dead, said by Nathan, who was former Microsoft CTO 97. So there is this illusion of knowledge which has impacted these world-class leaders, which even headed towards them to a different direction. So they didn't want to change. They were heading towards a different direction. So I started asking these people that I interviewed people like Alan Mabadi, who is founder of Truecaller, Frederick Herren, who is a global speaker, Brian Tracy, a management guru, Suman Saraf, founder of BlueStack, that what is their understanding of knowledge, how they develop themselves. And the observation was when leaders talks about learning, they have an iceberg in their mind. When they talk about the same from the stage, people talk about learning, but when they talk about learning, it is usually the Icecube. Both of them made up of same thing, but the difference in scope is huge. And the huge difference was visible in why, what, how of their learning, which is too big to cover in this session, but definitely I can cover the core aspects. Like if you closely look at the data science of knowledge, it more comes from data for information, knowledge to wisdom. So when we traverse this trajectory, we saw that on one side, we have the amazing content, which is in the video format. On the other side, we have a very abstract type of content. And in my observation, leadership are mostly towards the left-hand side, which is having the abstract thinking, abstract content, and ability to develop from that side, which makes me to ponder upon that should we make the content easy or develop the capability to understand complex content easily. There is Edgar Dale cone of learning, which reflect the same thing. So they talk about the typical human being towards the top, for example, activities like reading and hearing, mark my word, reading and hearing is having least learning retention, whereas activities like making them do something is having most of the learning retention. But time to observe, the learning style of world-class leaders is definitely the opposite of it. So they do the two type of activities, which as per this research is having least learning retention, and they are not doing the other stuff. Why is it so? We need to understand that aspect. For example, there is an Harvard Business Review article which talks about for those who want to lead, read. We need to understand why these people read so much. And I realized this important skill that they have developed. The ability to turn the textual matter into an outcome is a skill in itself. So for example, if somebody is getting a recipe, turning it to a pizza is the art of a master chef. Do you have that skill with you? So reading is very different from reading a book is very different from studying a book. I've coached people, and this is a learnable skill. Second most important thing that these people have is going through the audiobook and podcast. What is the best thing about audio and podcast which makes it unique? Can you share in the chat box? What do you think? What is so unique about audiobook and podcast that these leaders just love it? And as I'm waiting for chat, yes, multitasking can absorb. So multitasking and ability to multitask this level of learning with other things is very crucial. Then comes observation-based knowledge. For the leaders, this is even more important. Why is it so? There are many so-called illiterate or uneducated entrepreneurs who form this observation-based learning to the extent that Jim Rohn made this statement: formal education will make you a living, self-education will make you a fortune, which is so essential. And many world-class leaders are college dropout, but they are not learning dropout. There is a well-defined research which talks about that people who learn a lot have also longer tenure of living. So this is the screenshot of hippocampus of 100-year-old actively living human beings who learn to the extent that they have this beautiful thing. And in the book, Self-Education of a Powerful Mind of Washington, it talks about the importance of self-education again and again. This famous statue in Akshardham temple in India, which is 9 to 10 feet high, is talking about the same thing: working on yourself. If you are ready to become a world-class leader, are you ready to work on yourself? And this last but not the least, Sanskrit shlok conveys the same. Naksharam mantra hitam. There is no letter which cannot form a mantra. Na moolam na aushadim. There is no root which cannot become a medicine. Ayogyam purusham na asti. There is no person who is useless. Yojakas tar durbalam. Their utilization is clear. Discover your thought leadership potential and you can be the same.